Hello and greetings to everyone. I'm very pleased to be at this virtual seminar or webinar organized by IHPCIA. I would like to express my thanks to Mr. Sanjay Trivedi, Mr. Pankaj Dutia, and the entire team at IHPCIA for organizing this event and inviting me, giving me this opportunity. Now, what is the way forward for the next decade for home and personal care industry? And my topic today is oleochemicals and import challenges posed by Atmanirbhar Bharat. Hi friends, I'm Bhavna Shah. I'm the regional head of Malaysian Palm Oil Council for India and Sri Lanka. Global oleochemicals markets are bracing for potential shocks to the supply chain as demand across the cleaning products and food and beverage supply chain surges exponentially alongside the continued spread of the coronavirus pandemic. India has one of the biggest markets for oleochemicals as large and growing population will continue the consumption and increase the demand for oleochemicals. The industry depends to a large extent on imported vegetable oils. And in that import basket, about 60% comprises of palm oil. Also, palm oil prices directly influence the prices of fatty acids and fatty alcohol. The palm oil sector continues to have a weak output for the peak harvest time. Then, in fact, Malaysian palm oil production so far this year is also down. It's down by about 3 to 5%. And this is based on lower yields on fertilizers and drier weather from the end of 2019. There also has been hesitancy for the global workforce to return to the plantations due to the spread of COVID-19. While this isn't something new for Malaysia, there is an additional stress and impact this year and has started to affect the production. Also, we must note the heavier than usual rains in Indonesia because of the La Nina weather pattern could limit much downward price pressure on palm oil in the coming months. The biofuel mandate of Indonesia, now this plays a very key critical component for palm prices. In relation to fatty acids, these trends also result in rising feedstock prices for the oleochemical industry. Most fatty acid prices are higher than a year ago, amid elevated palm oil and derivative prices. Prices of glycerine has increased amid an uptick in palm oil prices and improved demand in China. When biodiesel production dropped, glycerine production also dropped. Hence, every factor affecting the global veg oil and biofuel sector affects the oleochemical industry too. Key feedstocks for oleochemical production, CNO and PKO prices have seen volatility and firming prices since the beginning of 2020. Imported fatty acids volumes will likely continue to see higher prices through the end of this year on rising shipping freight cost and firm palm complex dynamics in Asia. The inventory level is also not expected to increase significantly over the next 4 to 6 months. And when we talk about palm oil, let's talk about the other oils. Palm oil competitor soybean oil. That is also facing similar tight inventory situation ahead of the next US planting season. And as I mentioned about La Nina earlier, La Nina is also likely to affect the global soybean production negatively. Now, adding to this were the hikes in shipping costs which have plagued the Trans-Pacific route, particularly since the mid-year. Short vessel space availability was cited in Southeast Asia as well as higher rates resulting from environmental stipulations engaged in 2020 aimed at regulating bunker fuels towards reduced emission and higher fuel efficiency. According to our rough estimates, India requires about 85,000 metric tons of fatty alcohol towards manufacture of SLES, SLS, and ethooxylates. Palm oil derivatives are required for fatty alcohol production. In that total basket, 24% of fatty alcohol is imported, and the balance is being made from fatty acid, which is equivalent to about 86,000 metric tons of CPKO. For manufacture of hair conditioners, ethooxylates, emulsifying wax, around 35,000 metric tons of fatty alcohol is demanded, which is based on 75% of palm oil derivatives and made from an estimated of 48,000 metric tons of crude palm stearine and PFAD. Total fatty acid composition is about 3 to 3.20 lakh metric tons per year. Again, from this, about 2 lakh 60,000 metric tons is produced domestically and remaining is imported. Major stearic acid manufacturers use crude or RBD palm stearine or palm fatty acid distillate as raw material. Refined glycerine consumption is in the range of 2 lakh 20,000 metric tons domestically. Metric tons, and domestically India produces roughly about 50% of it. Palm kernel oil and coconut oil, as we all know out here, are leading feedstock because they have a very wide mix of all the fatty acids. Refined glycerine plants are based on splitter crude as well as imported crude, including that from biodiesel. They are used in pharmaceuticals, personal care, toilet soaps. Now, if you look at the import basket in India, soybean oil imports have risen quite high. It's almost risen by 9% in 2020. Sunflower oil imports are also around 2 million metric tons. And total palm oil imports is about 9 million metric tons. The global oleochemicals market size was valued at 22 billion USD in 2020 and is expected to reach 31.9 billion by 2025. Indian oleochemical industry is also projected to reach around 2.6 billion USD by 2025. Growth of beauty and personal care in India slowed in 2019, but it's interesting to note, while there continued to be a desire to experiment with different beauty and personal care products in 2019, especially amongst millennials and the young consumers, there's a growing need for variety, adapting new trends from the West. But at the same time, consumers remain price conscious. But 2020 being a challenging year due to COVID-19 pandemic, demand has suffered from the impact of the lockdown, while consumer confidence will be dented by the ongoing economic uncertainty. A sharp rise in demand for oleochemicals is attributed to an increased need for cleaning products, disinfectants and sanitizers due to COVID-19 pandemic. Indian personal care market will be seeing a substantial growth post-COVID and is expected to be one of the fastest growing sectors with a growth rate of over 8 to 10% by 2024. And that will drive the growth for all the surfactants industry. Indian plastic and food additives market is also estimated to jump to 9,000 crores this year. That is again 8 to 10% growth in last 4 years. talking about the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India. Now, Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India, which is targeting on reducing India's dependence on the imports of edible oils and increasing domestic production. Now, what that means for oleochemical industry? I see likely two scenarios. Either the industry will continue to import byproducts as feedstocks, that's one easy option, or this is the best opportunity for the Indian oleochemicals industry. It can invest in research and development and make use of byproducts made from domestic oils. Now, as we know, oleochemicals industry is largely dependent on vegetable oils and fats. Otherwise, it will be so difficult to meet the growing demand of this sector. So, it's one of the likely scenario. Either it will be dependent on imports for byproducts. Today, everything is easy. One phone call, it will be delivered. Or then, India has to take that initiative to create R&D setup, look at innovation, and find answer solution within the region. Earlier this year, refined palm oil has been placed under restrictive list. It has been removed from the OGL. The edible oil prices are under inflationary pressure. The government is concerned about rising imports and encouraging to increase domestic production. Now, as you know, recently, due to rise in edible oil prices by about 30%, that set off alarm bells. Government of India reduced import duties on crude palm oil by 10%. It has been brought down from 37.5% to 27.5% just very recently on 26 November. Now, this surely will bring some relief to the consumers. So, to achieve self sufficiency, oil palm cultivation is considered important by the experts in India. Also, palm based oleochemicals have a diverse range of applications. Some states in India, like Northeast, etc., have started oil palm cultivation. But in short term, it is not possible to bridge the demand gap where the demand from oleochemical industry is also growing year on year basis. So, in order to cater the growing needs for oleochemicals, companies have been expanding its facility. The government of India has sought domestic industries' views on how to increase domestic production. Various measures have been suggested by industry experts and associations. Government has planned various initiatives, progressive policies to encourage and support farmers to produce oilseeds and oil palm, shift in acreages, adoption of technology, etc. Though other oils do not have the same yielding capacity as palm, oil palm cultivation is limited in India. It's limited. We all know the reasons again due to various factors like number one, long gestation period, geoclimatic conditions, requirement of water, and fragmented land holdings, so uneconomical in some ways. So various other factors. Efforts are being made, but India's reliance on imports of palm oil will continue, at least for the short to medium term for sure. The Indian economy has suffered its deepest contraction. While the government has removed most restrictions imposed on businesses to reduce the spread of virus, the economy is slowly limping back, and barring a few sectors like Horeca that continue to be under stress, the Reserve Bank of India issued a gloomy economic forecast earlier in October 2020. but kept interest rates unchanged, citing rising inflation. Now, I have two key takeaway points for the oleochemical industry. Gloomy economic projections would entail the oleochemical industry to seriously work on product innovation, cost control, productivity, etc. And number two, like in many other industries, cash management and working capital management, efficient supply chain management, productivity improvements, these are all very critical than ever before in oleochemicals industries too. So that is what the economy looks like right now, and these are the important key areas where association like yours and industry can come together and help with these very key critical areas and measures I mentioned. Having said that, however, I for one am very optimistic that once pandemic is over, there will be a good bounce back of demand, and hopefully we will see increased demand. And I hope to have the next event not virtually but in physical presence, having a good networking sessions. Um, so with that, best wishes for a great year, a great 2021 ahead. Stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you.